All right, everybody, I got another non-paintball related thing for you. This one has to do with your air conditioning in your house. So we've been having some issues with some airflow and our zone system not working correctly, and I'm going to show you how to diagnose a few things and what to do to fix it. So some of the stuff I fixed without needing parts, and this last one I do need a part. Specifically, this little guy right here. So that is a zone control motor. So this basically, and I'll show you when I get up in the attic, but it's just way hot up there right now. So I'm gonna do as little as I can up there. I'll show you as much as I can down here. But basically this has a little motor that controls a butterfly valve in my ducting upstairs to control when this zone is open and when it's not. Now these things are supposed to be powered closed, so when the control board, and I'll show you all that up there, when the control board says that the zone is off, it puts 24 volts into this little motor here. And what this motor does is shuts the zone off, so that you don't, if you're just trying to cool your downstairs or just trying to cool your upstairs, then it only sends air where it's needed. Whereas right now, my zone controller was going out, and instead of leaving it failed closed where I didn't get air downstairs in my house, I left it failed open. So now anytime the system runs, it puts air downstairs. Now that may seem okay, but the upstairs, obviously, because it's summertime, gets hot a lot faster than downstairs, which just means that the system is running longer because it's trying to cool up and down. Anyway, so what this does, like I said a minute ago, you put power to it, it closes this. When it's time for that zone to open, it will cut power, and this spring right here, which is nice and tightly wound against that spring will gently open that valve to allow airflow through it. Mine doesn't do that anymore. It's really frustrating. Every now and then I'd go upstairs and give it just a little, love tap, some percussive maintenance, and it would work, but it just completely gave up on me. So I don't know how much an HVAC guy would charge me to change this out, and I'm not even gonna have it quoted because I don't want to. This thing cost me 65 bucks on Amazon. I just got the part number off the one upstairs, got on Amazon, looked up the part number, and it's good to go. It's one bolt to the shaft of the butterfly valve, and then this is anti-torque, so it just holds it straight while this thing is turning. That's it. These things are super simple. It's a 24 volt DC, or not DC, it's AC. Either way, that doesn't matter so much if you're just replacing it one for one on your system. So I'm gonna head upstairs now where it is super duper hot, and we're gonna try and do this relatively quickly. So I was gonna go upstairs, but I opened the packaging, and I guess I could show you this. It did come with instructions that literally tells you how to change this out. So I wouldn't, I don't know, call anybody unless you just really are concerned about doing this. All right, we are in my attic, just south of Houston here in League City. And I think the heat index right now with humidity is about 112. I don't know, so it's really hot up here. Anyway, so welcome to my attic. First thing I'm gonna do is turn off this little switch because I don't feel like getting shocked today. We're gonna go over here where it's nice and dark. Don't worry, I brought my flashlight. All right. So here is my control board. Yikes, that's terrible lighting. All right, so this control board has a couple of different things on it. You can see it says different zones: heat, cool, fan, purge. Basically, the wires, how am I gonna do this? All right, basically the wiring on this side controls the different zones. And you can see over here on my air handler, at the end of the box, there is this bypass line. We're gonna get to that in a bit because there's something on there that annoyed me. There's a zone heading out that way to the right, another zone coming off this way to the left. Here's the motor I showed you just a minute ago, or it's not the same one, but it was, well, the same type. So basically this is for my upstairs unit. It's got a couple of lines that lead out that way. And then on the other side of the case here, I have my, let's see if we can get over there. That one over there, which doesn't have the case on it at the moment because I've been messing with it, is for my downstairs. Let's see, quick rundown of an air handler unit. You've got this first section here, which has your blowers. It's got a couple other things. If you have heat, this will have your coils in it. I have gas heat, so it has the burner in it, propane, all that good stuff. I'm not going to open up and mess with it. Let's see, the next section will have your heat exchanger in there. That's also where all your humidity and condensate come from. Got your drain lines, drain pans, whole bunch of stuff. But this system specifically uses a constant speed fan. And here, I can talk to you. Uses a constant speed fan, and so basically what that means is the fan is always going to run at the same speed. Constant speed fan, repeating myself. But basically that requires it to have a bypass. So it's going to put out a specific amount of volume. Anyways, so what it does is it puts out a constant amount of air at the same time. And what that can do is build up too much pressure in this dual zone system, that if only one zone is open, it'll put excess pressure in there, excess speed, and it creates noise. So what happens is that bypass has a baffle in it that is supposed to open to allow some of that excess pressure to bleed over, and it just gets recaptured and run back through the system. Which is normally nice. But the other day when I came up here, and I'll show you the thing on the back side here in a minute, but when I came up here, it was just hanging loose. So my bypass was constantly open, so I wasn't getting airflow to my entire house like I was supposed to. Which is probably another reason a lot of my stuff started to go bad and fail. And I've been slowly fixing things as I've come in contact with them. But I'm going to crawl around to the other side of the unit, and then we'll keep going. Alright, so now we're on the back side of my air handler unit. And when I was telling you about a baffle, so this guy here, see how the airflow is pointing directly in line with the duct? The other day when I was up here, it was just hanging down, not in the right spot. So these are pretty easy to take off. This little red tab on the bottom, you just push it in, it pops off into place. But if that airflow line is not pointing in line with your system, it's probably not working correctly. And then I will also show you here in a minute when I turn it on, the different zones, how it's supposed to operate. So if both zones are open, it's supposed to be completely closed. There's a little tab that you can't see it because it's not working right now, but basically it'll move up this way to tell you it's opening or not. And then when one zone is closed, it's supposed to allow pressure to bypass. So here's my current motor that's not working correctly. You can see that spring is kind of wonky. It's just not working correctly. So it would, turn on, power would get to it, it would close the motor, and then it would keep the little butterfly valve inside of this ducting. It would keep that closed. And that goes to my downstairs and all these different header units that go everywhere, including my bedroom, kitchen, all those things that need to be cooled. But what I'm going to show you now is just how to change this thing. So I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it, but basically there is this one bolt on the back. This one bolt here, you take it out on both of these, you slide this over the shaft on the other one, and it screws down into place. It's a really simple fix. All right, so we're going to try and fix this thing. Not sure if you'll be able to see this part all that well. Kind of in the dark up here, except for my flashlight. So I am just going to loosen that one bolt we talked about. That was really easy. Out comes the screw. Undo the cabling. Sorry, you probably couldn't hear me. Undo the cabling. And that's why I turned the electricity off up here. Keep those wire nuts. And then this should just slide off. Just like that. Here's the old one. Now it looks to be a tad different on the coupler here, so I may have to switch that out. You can maybe see down here. So that little shaft right there goes directly to that butterfly valve. Or, you know, whatever the damper plate looks like. I assume it's like a butterfly valve. To open and close this. Let's see. So open, twist it, closed. All right, so that should be closed. So I'm gonna have to test that a few times probably, but we're gonna go ahead and put the other one on. Shouldn't have to change anything. So if this is a normally open setup, because the spring return is open, I need to open that valve in there. That's going to be interesting. All right, so I'm actually going to go ahead and put power back to the system to open it and then tighten it back down. So I'll wire it up while it's here. We got it in place. Let's see, the paperwork says it doesn't matter which lead goes where when you're wiring it. So that's gonna make this a lot easier. I don't know if that helped any, but when you go to put the wire nuts on, you just want to make sure that it kind of twists up together. That way you make a good solid connection. It's going to wrap that way. Put them together. Maybe give it a little pre-twist. Put that wire nut on. Twist it up, give it a little tug, nothing comes out, we're good to go. Do the same thing on the orange. All right, I'm gonna take the case off of this, just so when I kick it back on, you should see that it does something. I'm going to tell my downstairs thermostat, luckily I have a Nest system that I can go ahead and do it from upstairs. Alright, so I've turned the system back on. Usually takes a minute before everything kicks back on. Alright, so right now, I'm hoping you can see it. The little gears in there are turning because I made sure that the downstairs system was off. So the gears have turned. So I'll turn on the downstairs thermostat to where it will want to bring cold air. I hope y'all caught that. So it is open now. So what I'm gonna do, since I can hear the air flowing through it, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the coupling down. So I'm gonna have to put the camera back down. But I'm gonna tighten that coupling since it's in the open position, and then we're gonna shut it again and see what it does. All right, so remember earlier, so now this is closed. Earlier I said if this is working properly, it'll show that it's open a little bit. So that's open. What I'm gonna do now is turn this system back on, watch it open up, and then I'll show you that damper again that should say completely closed. All right, so that has opened. And now that guy is completely closed again. So we are good to go. All right, last thing I'm gonna do is put the cover back on this, but you don't need to see that. And then that way I can get out of this really hot attic. Anyways, thanks for watching.